Alrighty, welcome. Sorry, getting a bit of a late start. I did say yesterday we were probably going to be getting a bit of a late start because I didn't have any sleep. I stayed up all day, which I still need to finish a couple of the essays. So I'm probably going to have to call it at like maybe 2:30 or something like that. So we'll try to see if we can get like 3 or 3.5 hours here. I need to get some more sleep, and then I need to get up in the morning and try to finish that before I get my daughter up at 10. Now, I think last night we were able to solve the connectivity problems. We'll see. I know that's really hurt our numbers over the last, week or so, especially with kind of newer viewers who come in and they're like, man, this guy's internet sucks. I'm going to go watch something else. Which always feels bad because it's like, but it's not usually bad, I promise. It's just a really bad week. So it seems like it may have been the router, but we'll see. It did behave for the last however many 2 or 3 hours last night, so we'll see if it's back. If it's not, we'll keep troubleshooting it. Then at least we'll know it's not the router. Just trying to narrow it down. So special thanks again to everybody who's kind of sticking with me to ride this out. We do have a coaching session from Jolty that we need to do very soon as well. So I'm going to wait till Jolty signs on here, and then we'll... I have a good router. It's one of the highest recommended routers out there. Very popular router. It's very powerful. Yeah, the student I hate an F and the student I like an A. Yeah. That's not usually really the way to go. There aren't really any students that I hate. There are a couple that I wish would focus up a bit more, but there aren't any that I personally dislike. There are very few in the history of my class that I personally dislike. There have been a couple of people that were like really surprise haters in the class. And like the reviews at the end that were kind of surprised, a little shocking. But in general, I think there's only been a very small handful of the thousands of students that I've taught where I'm like, man, not a big fan of this person. Extremely rare. I don't know what their bot lane is. Hopefully we don't get super punished here for that. Hopefully they don't go like Leona Draven or something. If this would be worth it or not. I mean, Demolish is pretty good, but also Zareth. Might try old Trusty here again. I didn't research my team, but hopefully they do all right. What's up, Cassatex? What's up, Stefan? What do I think about the new ADC changes coming? I haven't seen that. Where did you read about that? Was that on the is that on a forum or something? It's not on the patch that's coming out tomorrow. I don't think. I can look it up. I'm just not sure what it is. Tell me where you saw that info. Yeah, just tell me where you saw that info and I can look it up. In between games, take a peek. Give you a better idea of what I think about it. Are they changing ADC like items? Oh. It's goofing up again. Taking off the black screen, guys. Hope. I mean, do we know details, or is it just like a post from a rioter saying we're buffing marksman? I mean, I would imagine if they're changing ADCs, it would probably be a buff, because I think everyone agrees that they're kind of the weakest class outside of Lucian, and maybe Jhin. Like a good Draven. Didn't I just feed you? Am I crazy? I guess maybe I fed you a couple hours ago. Go sit down. Feed you after this.
Consequences only matter if I don't get away.
I have a Netgear Nighthawk 1G router or whatever, I think. It's a pretty new, popular, good one, I think. What I saw, it was on the expensive side.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Just tell me where you got the info, and I can go look at it after this, and I'll
Humans claim it is theirs.
let you know.
Fence us away and cover it in refuse.
Minions have spawned.
Well, they don't give it, they rent it to you, from what I understand.
I feel like my
They usually rent you an all-in-one. At least from what I've seen.
Rude. They will see my depths. Then they will know magic's joy and its fury.
Eh. I mean, I would imagine they would want people to be happy with their service, so yeah, I'm sure they probably try to give you, you know, as good a stuff as they can afford for that price point. But they do have you rent the equipment, from what I've seen. Man, my mouse is really like... Dude, I'm running on very little sleep too, so my mechanics might be a little lower even than they usually are. I'm very excited about these Dark Harvest nerfs though, so I don't face things like Xerath every lane. I need to get a new mouse too. I feel like my mouse just is garbage sometimes.
I will make them dance. I will make them hear. I need my love to hurt. I need the world to
Fun with this
scare me.
mouse.
I don't apologize for it. I
An
feel
ally has
good.
been slain. Enemy double kill.
Humans talk about treaties.
Red Kha'Zix. I probably didn't get a better mouse. It's like a $12 like Chinese
Wildness in the
knockoff brand mouse.
I can't wait to see what I'm gonna do.
This guy's probably auto-filled Ezreal. I didn't look.
Count it down. 1, 2, 3, go! I don't need to understand the plan. I trust it. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here to entertain myself. But you too!
Ally has been slain.
Magic is a wilderness.
Jungler's topside. Let me back right in front of Dragon when the enemy bot lane is also back. Like, and I know he was low on mana, but it's like, dude, you know they don't have it warded. Their jungler's literally topside. We see him right now. That's
An ally
annoying.
has been slain.
When I get sad, I stop being sad and be happy instead. True story.
He's gonna push back, Lev. We're just trying to deny a couple of CS at tower.
This looks like another dangerous situation. Thankfully, I can improvise. I am a chronic line stepper.
Spellbook on Rakan because Aerie just has felt really unsatisfying lately. Especially with an Ezreal lane, because we're not going to have any kill threat in this lane, like, ever. And, they nerfed the Guardian tree a lot. It no longer has Chrysalis, which is a huge deal. And Bone Plating's not as appealing as it used to be. Because of the decoupled stats, where you don't have to have it for, the health anymore, or it's not as beneficial to have it for the base health stats. And that's made Spellbook look more appealing. I've done Spellbook in the past. So it was about a month or two where I was doing a lot of Recon Spellbook. It's really good because you can start fights with it and just like really make use of all those summoners pretty well. But I really hate these poke champs so much. We're never gonna be able to kill them. Need to, like, why can't people just ban like good champs? Like every game I have to choose, am I gonna ban Irelia? Am I gonna ban Xerath?
Something you have to be serious.
And we can still win. I just get so tired of like the Irelia and the Kha'Zix and everything just like always popping off. There's Kha'Zix.
Every road leads someplace. Gotta get myself. One, two. All right.
Dude, like, we know they have it warded. No, Glacial Augment's terrible. Don't ever get Glacial Augment on Rakan. He's not even ranged.
I am so gone.
I can't really stop them from doing that.
Has been destroyed.
Crap. I totally forgot why I'm here.
I should have dodged Ezreal. I don't know. I should have done my research on this game. We could maybe win. It's just like 99% of the time Ezreals are bad. I had played Ezreal. I don't even think, like, he feels really bad on this patch. And I usually love Ezreal. The loss of attack speed actually does matter, and I think the change to his ult is a pretty big deal. Because now you can't just, like, run around and wave clear as easily as you could. You don't even have that same macro pressure that you used to have.
They want us in cages. We refuse.
Vi's video. I'll have to look. It's not on the patch notes for what's actually going out on 8.2.4. So I don't know if there are actual numbers. I could see. I'd have to watch. He might be speculating about what's coming in like 2 patches down the line.
Rampage.
Well, Shaco's going off. I mean, maybe.
I think Zaya told me to improvise. At least, that's the only part of the plan I remember. Ain't nothing I say should be taken
Can we even
serious.
kill this guy?
That's why it's the truth.
Not with Xerath there.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
What you looking at?
See if we can catch Xerath in transit. No.
An ally has been slain.
I dance because I'm free.
Well, it keeps working. That's why they keep doing it. Every other lane's failing, so... Yeah, I mean, everybody feels like they're auto-filled. Like, Lux is a pretty common auto-fill champ. So is Ezreal. People think, oh, they're safe, you know. Which there are worse choices out there if you're auto-filled, but... I mean, I could take a look at it and see. Yeah, they're just gonna get this. I feel like it's gonna be really hard. I mean, maybe we can play around. Fuck. I missed the Xerath. If I grabbed the Xerath and then ignited him there, I think I could have exhausted and then gotten away. But once I missed him, it was pretty much it. Oh, there was like a piece of vent or something there. It wasn't the mouse's fault that I missed that. It is getting annoying. I don't know. Like I said, I'm on low sleep too. It's totally possible. It's all in my head.
Magic is supposed to be scary. Love is supposed to hurt. Ecstasy means. I'll just put that there. That's a good place. I hope. Yeah. Without wild no children. I'm so fine.
I'm dead.
Dominating.
When did Ezreal ping anything? Things be careful. I don't know. I thought I was going to be able to get out with the Garen, but then he's just kind of gone. So what's up, Celigora?
If Zaya says someone has to die, they die.
I feel like I definitely want more CDR here. More ults. That one build was really awesome because I always had my ult up. Like Predator. Maybe that build, I don't know, maybe I should be considering that build more. It felt a little troll at times, but it's better than I think. Nimbus Cloak is very nice, though. That is basically like Predator every time your ult's up. Not quite, but it's... Yeah, I don't even know, like, it just feels like we have nothing good. I mean, the Shaco.
I know people are watching. How could they not be? It's all filthy and dangerous. And that's why I love it.
I just really wish they switched, like, Presence of Mind and, like, Taste of Blood.
The humans will never understand our kind until they hear the song.
From the Domination Tree. And you could just, like, double down on Ultimate. Okay, there we go. There's our chance.
Let's see what these animals can do. Guard know our kind danced upon the mountains like flames. Now only the embers remain.
An ally has been slain.
So fed. I really want the... I'm still gonna get Ionians. Maybe that's really dumb, but I just really, really want that CDR.
I think they underestimate my charm. How is that even possible?
An enemy has been
Yeah, I mean, I could do Domination secondary for Ulti Hunter.
enemy killing spree.
They will remember my name.
Probably have to go for, like, Zombie Ward or something in addition to that. I don't know, giving up those, like, free boots plus Cosmic Insight is thing. I mean, Cosmic Insight alone, an extra 5% CDR on something that's like 100 second cooldown is a 5-second cooldown in and of itself. Plus the other stuff that it gives. So it's not the 15% that you get off Ulti Hunter, but... Oh, he flashed. Dude. Dude, this sucks. Like, you ran in 2v4. Okay. Why? Like, this is Iron 4 tomorrow. People chasing their support through like 3 other people. But we are starting to kind of get some opportunities. It's just we're squandering them. I'm not checking that.
Loves me.
Ezreal says running them down is not a good idea. Yeah, not if you're running through like 3 different people. Go kill that clown.
Why is it taking so long to get back to the action?
Your turret has been destroyed. An enemy has been slain.
Peekaboo. What humans call magic, we call life.
Caught him mid-air. I'm not sure if I want to ult into that or not. Yeah. That was pretty sweet. I didn't know he stopped like mid-jump. I thought he was still going to be able to go all the way in there and get fairly close. Oh my god, what? Okay. Hey, what's up, Matt? Alright,
Danger is as fun as you let it be.
That's right, Jolty. Yeah, so they are adding in Iron is below Bronze, and then they're adding in Grandmaster above.
Is my cloak right? Yes, it is. I'm worried for a second.
I have a whole video talking about proposed changes in the preseason.
They're scared of darkness. They're scared of magic.
Okay, I'm coming down.
Scared of winning.
Actually,
I am not blind to any possibility.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
It don't take a lot of work. Hey, that was a warning shot.
oh god, yeah, we're all dead. Probably. Well, maybe not. Jaco should be able to hunt him down, I think. They might have some of that warded. It's kind of awkward. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of, like, what they're doing. I think if they're going to add divisions, they needed to add something above silver or between silver and bronze. And if they wanted to add something in kind of the higher ELO bracket, I would add something between plat and diamond. So I think adding anything below bronze is going to be a real feels bad for a lot of people who get placed into it. Whereas, like, adding something between silver and gold would be a feels good, or, like, even between bronze and silver would be a feels good. So you could say, well, at least I'm not bronze anymore, because I got out of it, you know, into this new bracket. Because that's where most players are, like, between, like, bronze 1 and silver 4. You know, that's, like, half the population are in those brackets. So, adding more differentiation in there so that you're not just the 10 millionth person that's silver 4, you know, I think would be very helpful. So I like the idea of adding more divisions, but the way that they've done it is going to be a feels bad, I think, whereas it could have been a feels good. At the end of the day, they're just sticking a bow on this. People are still going to have the same MMR. They're still going to get matched against the same kind of people as they normally would be. It's just adding an extra little, like, title to it, so it's not going to really affect gameplay at all. Dude's talking about.
I need to see if people can see how awesome I am.
I should have stayed over there so I could get level 14. Not that my Q matters that much right now, but it would add in some extra stuff.
The enemy's inhibitor responds.
Oh, I didn't realize it moved the boxes. I mean, we waited a long time for that, but I mean, that's what happens when you have full vision control. Oh my god.
Shut down.
I don't want a world.
Man, that GP doesn't hurt at all.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
How did he get over there? Then Shaco back. How do you also even get over there? Like, legit, I don't even... I'd have to go back and watch the replay. Last time I looked, he was, like, right here, throwing the whirlwind stuff, and then next time I saw him, he was over here messing with Lux, and I didn't hear him use his ult. Like I said, I'm running on very little sleep, so it's totally possible. I just did not see what happened, but... I mean, obviously, I didn't see what happened, but maybe it was something that was, like, really odd. Maybe he did ult, and I just didn't see it. I don't know. Did he just dash past and I just didn't see it? Okay, maybe I just didn't see it. I don't know. I was probably looking at something else then. Yeah, I glanced at the minimap to see where Shaco was or something. Can't remember. I'm good on the mods, guys. I try to have as few mods as I can. Still, like, have the channel function. Where the hell is he? God bless. Did I kill him? Oh, he lived with like virtually no HP because he went invisible right when I ulted onto him. I didn't see him from behind there. He's 2 levels higher. How does he miss the smite? I should have killed him. I just straight didn't see him. I don't know if they lost the game. That's a bit strong.
I'm gonna take all they got, then laugh as I throw it away.
Come on, Shaco. I mean, maybe he was hurt, but no, they're gonna be up.
I look around these forests and I see freedom. Eyes hear the music.
I don't know. I didn't see the Kha'Zix. He was like, came from a weird angle. He probably ran up invisible because, you know, great champ. No. Back up.
Man, have you seen that forest over there?
I thought I could one-shot Kha'Zix because he doesn't have any defense over that wall, and then I was gonna like try to flash and E back out, but maybe he got healed or something from the Yasuo.
Our people are bleeding. My lady's gonna heal them.
Hey, thanks so much, Andrew, for the membership. I really appreciate it. I'll send you that email afterwards. Sorry, Streamlabs doesn't give you a shout out for the PayPal memberships. It's complicated why it works that way, but I'll give you a shout out. Thank you so much. That helps out a ton. So I'll give you an email after this that'll have the Discord info and all that good stuff. I don't know why they would come through here, but Might come over here and try to ward this.
Ooh, I am so into this. What is this?
And we screw that up pretty hard with the Baron.
I need some fun.
Wait, what is going on here? That's probably it. Maybe Shaco.
Your inhibitor has been destroyed.
Well, that one was rough. Okay, let me, yeah. We'll grab Jolty's coaching session. Got the info real quick to Andrew. Thanks again so much for that. And now we'll grab Jolty's replay here. I don't know why this mouse feels so weird. I think it's just because I'm tired and, like, I don't know. It feels kind of weird. All right. All right. Get back on the ranked train here in just a second, but go ahead and grab this coaching session. What are my thoughts on gaming addiction? I mean, I don't know. I'm sure it's a real thing for some people, but at the same time, I think that just because you do something a lot doesn't mean you're addicted to it. might just enjoy doing it, you know? I mean, you could call some people, like, addicted to work or whatever. I think addicted, like, involves compulsive behavior. Like, there are other telltale signs other than just spending time on it. I think that somebody's like, hey, you're addicted to gaming because you spend, you know, X amount of hours gaming. Whereas, like, addiction is really, like, a mental thing. Like, you know, it's a mental thing, like doing something compulsively. Usually a sign of addiction is doing it over and over again because you feel compelled to do it even though it doesn't bring you joy anymore to an extent. Like, one of the signs of, like, actual addiction. So yeah, I think people, you know, sometimes people toss around, they're like, oh, this person plays video games for, you know, 4 or 5 hours a day or something like that. They're addicted. It's like, well, they just enjoy doing that. It's like people who go to work for 8 hours a day. I mean, they are doing that for, like, money, but they're still spending a lot of time there. Just doing it for a different reason other than compulsively doing an activity. So I think that it can certainly, well, psychological addiction is a little different from physical addiction. I think you can be psychologically addicted to things. But I think that just doing it a lot isn't necessarily a singular mark. It's like, if you are addicted, you're probably going to be doing it a lot, but everyone that's like doing it, and whatever activity it is, a lot doesn't necessarily mean they're addicted to it. So it's like, it's included as part of it, but it's not like an if-then type of thing. Okay, let me go ahead and we'll get this going here. Enemy team had Vayne Jungle. The it was Voy Boy special. I saw Voy Boy had a video about that. I mean, you could just about say the X special, the YouTube League content creator special, because that's what, like, so many of them do. It's just like, hey, watch this obscure weird pick. Watch me crush some people. You know, either in normals or I played like 10 games to get this really good footage. Sort of. I don't even think that impairing your life, I mean, that's another marker once again, but
Minions have spawned.
I mean, that would be part of, like, not bringing you happiness or joy anymore. Something like, because some people work a lot, you know, they spend a lot of time at work, and that can affect their life. I don't necessarily know that that means they're addicted to work, though. Maybe, but they might just be trying to, you know, climb their corporate ladder and get to the next promotion. They might just be very driven, ambitious people who, you know, spend 80 hours a week at work and, you know, don't spend a lot of time with their families, and that hurts them on the personal level. But I don't know if that would qualify as clinical addiction. It's just being driven and ambitious. And that can be its own sort of problem, but I don't think that's necessarily a sign of addiction. Okay, anyways, let me go ahead and let me focus up on this game. But yeah, I mean, good topic. So I think it's complicated, but I think it's over... that concept is overused, especially by... people that aren't gamers. Like, I see that talked about in, like, standard media a lot. Okay, let me go ahead and... Hello, everybody, welcome back. I'm the Strategy Professor. We're doing a Soraka coaching session here. This is patch 823. So special thanks to Jolty for the generous donation. We've coached Jolty several times already on Soraka, and I think a couple other champions as well. Okay, and Jolty's saying, and we're streaming as well, so be sure to come check out the stream. Most nights it starts around 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Jolty says that he kind of made some poor itemization choices here, so we'll pay attention and look at that. Airy. Okay. A lot of people take Spell Thieves on Soraka, but I can see an argument for Coin. I mean, Coin just guarantees you that you're going to get your wards. Yeah, so I do agree. I think it is a problem for some people, Nat, but just not as many as people might think. We were talking about gaming addiction, and like Nat asked, "What do I think about that concept?" And I basically just said, I think it's a real thing for some people, but I think it's a term that's overused a lot of times, just because people can do things a lot and not necessarily be addicted. Some examples that I used are like work. Someone who works a lot. Although, you know, that can happen too, but I think that people would be much more quickly to say someone games for 5 hours a day, you know, that would be addiction versus someone who goes to work for 8 hours a day. Anyways. Yeah, I mean, this lane's kind of on the tough side because Zyra Jen is probably going to be able to push you in. Jinx can't do a ton early. Like, Jinx can be a little aggressive early if she has someone else who can apply CC. So if she has a Leona, or just someone where she can drop the Chompers on someone who's already CC'd, she can do a pretty good CC chain. But the Chompers in and of themselves aren't fantastic by themselves. Okay. I mean, Coin gives the same amount of health as, pretty sure Coin gives the same amount of health as Spell Thieves. Yeah, it doesn't give any early, but then the tier 2, I think you're right, gives 200, but I think Spell Thieves also does that. So if you're worried about health, pretty sure it's the same. It does give you more money, though, you know, down the line if you do want more expensive items, so. It's going to give you less harass. I mean, they don't have any sustain in this lane, so, you know, sticking some of those procs with your Q off of Spell Thieves could potentially help quite a lot, but, you know, if you get camped by the jungler or you're just having a bad time and they dodge all your Qs or something, then your Spell Thief would stack pretty slowly, so Bro Fresco. I actually did forget about Bro Fresco. I don't watch a ton of those types of videos. Like, usually the League stuff that I watch is I'll watch professional replays or like League podcast type of shows. Like Beyond the Rift, The Dive, and League Hotline. Sometimes I'll watch Thorin. He has a good video. I think Loco Doco just started a show. I haven't checked that out yet, but I could check that out too. I don't have a ton of free time. Usually any free time that I have, I just do more for the channel. Is it beneficial to buy expensive items on Soraka? Yeah, I don't traditionally recommend that, Nat, no. Hey, what's up, Charles? Bonjour. My French accent's probably terrible. In fact, I know it is. But, yeah, no, I mean, the items I typically recommend on Soraka are usually Mikhail's, Redemption, Ardent Censor, almost every game. Mikhail's is so nice on Soraka just because it converts your mana regen over to health regen, which is obviously very, very good unless you have a water dragon or something. You could go in Athene's instead of a... There's definitely an argument if you land a lot of Qs in team fights, you know, for going Athene's over Mikhail's if they don't have a lot of CC. Especially after the nerf to Mikhail's back in like 8.12. Okay, gives you a health regen. Okay, that's true. That is something unique that coin gives you. I mean, I think the the main reason to go coin is just faster ward coverage and extra money late game. He flashed? I don't think he flashed that. Quebec French, yeah. I'd say so. I've heard Quebec is the equivalent to the south of the United States. Don't know that for sure, but it's like that, is what Kleenex was saying the other day. I live in the southern part of the United States, and there's a distinct accent like that, too. I could do a southern U.S. person trying to do a French accent. That'd be funny. Bonjour, buddy. Bonjour, mon frère. Voulez-vous pwn some noobs? Hey, what's up, Mitch? This is actually a coaching session. This is not a smurfing. I'm not actually playing this game. I'm just helping Soraka out here. Y'all are winning in CS. I mean, it's just a farm off. If you're winning in CS, farm off's great. If you're, you know, if your AD carry's just out farming the other one. Especially in a lane like this, like, you really can't force a lot of action to Soraka. You just kind of have to take what's given. Like, all you can really do is just apply poke, which I think you could be doing more. It's not worth it to go step on the plants. It's just too risky if she catches you out doing that. There's no reason to walk over there. But yeah, I mean, I think you could be throwing more Qs, you know. It is dangerous to get near her, but you do outrange her. Especially for her E's on cooldown, you should be looking to actively trade a bit more. Because they don't have sustain. Definitely Soraka doesn't, so... any damage that you stick will be helpful. I would try to be a bit more proactive here, even though I know it's like a scary lane, like you don't want to get caught, but I think you could be throwing a couple more Qs in there. Once again, not sure if it'd make a huge difference, because Jinx isn't really, like, contributing any harass either, but maybe. I mean, if you stick a few Qs on that Zyra, it could give your Jinx even more, like, capabilities to farm. You just always want to get every edge that you can, because you never know. Like, sometimes that extra 100 damage adds up, even in a farm-off lane. Oh. Yeah, make sure you don't walk into the Zyra there. That did quite a bit of damage. But, what's up, Dragon House? Hey, what's up, Night Panther? What'd you get? Probably boots. Yeah. Guess it looks like redemption. Redemption Rush is legit. Finn's losing it over that. Alright, speed this up a little bit. Get Dragon. Bane is out farming the Pantheon. Pretty hard, too. I would stay around them. You got your silence? Okay. Heal. Nice. Yeah, throw more Qs. I don't see you throwing a lot of Qs in these fights. And, like, you should be throwing your Q every time it's off cooldown, and, you know, especially in team fights. That is something that can be kind of tricky with Soraka, where, you know, you're trying to focus on, like, not dying, you know, you're positioning, trying to heal people. But you got to find some ways to just start throwing Qs. Even if you miss a lot of them, just get used to throwing them. Like, right there should be... You could have hit him with 2 Qs. And he would have been dead if you did. It not only does damage, it slows them down. It also speeds you up if you're running away from them. And it increases your heals by like 40%. So just like hitting those Qs, even if the damage itself is kind of anemic, you know, if you're not putting a lot of points into it. Like, just the utility of it is very helpful. For the speed up, the slowdown, and the extra healing power that it gives is pretty large. Alright, silence him, silence him, silence him. Oh, you don't have any mana. Okay, fair enough. And you might be dead. Did you? You did have flash. I think if you angled that correctly and just popped over the wall here, then you probably could have gotten out without flash. As soon as you see him jump over, if he's pretty close, I think you need to find. When should you go Bloodthirster on Soraka? I would not recommend it, ever. I guess if your team is up 50-10 and you just feel like trolling.
Rampage.
I don't think you have to be as passive against Zyra as you might think. Like, yes, you don't want to walk up and get too aggressive, but like the range on that Q, I think is something like... I think it's like 900 at least. And Zyra's effective sort of engage range is really about 800 with her plants. So I would at least throw the Qs. You know, really, technically, if you're getting down to, like, learning how to be a very efficient laner, anytime you back and you have extra mana, that's something else that you could have been doing in the laning phase, if you're really trying to get, like, deep in the tank, about how to fully optimize. You should be putting everything you have into the lane. Now, obviously, it doesn't mean just run up and spam all your spells. Okay, well, that's good. Just go out of mana instantly. But at the same time, it also means that you don't want to back with like 70% mana in most matchups if you can at all help it early on. I agree with the shield max. Or, like, I think that, you know, I've suggested this before, getting like 3 points of Q in lane, especially, I think you said this is silver. You can land a lot of Qs. You'd be very... Oh, right there, right there. Q in. Nice. You'd be very surprised how many Qs you can hit if you just practice it a little bit. Silver. People just don't... People have a harder time dodging skill shots in, like, silver than, like, some of the higher brackets because they're so focused on trying to hit CS and just, like... You know, trying to focus on what their abilities do and things like that, that they're not going to have as much sort of extra mental power to try to dodge skill shots as often. This is why things like Brand, Zyra, Blitzcrank, stuff like that are a lot more effective in something like Silver than Platinum or Diamond, because they have really punishing skill shots that you can abuse in something like a Silver bracket. Soraka is similar with her Qs. Like, you can get a lot of harassment in because people just won't dodge your Qs that much. Especially, like, whenever the AD carry goes to last hit, try throwing a Q right on top of them. Just every single time your Q's off cooldown and their AD carry goes to last hit, you have like 900 range on your Q, just drop a Q on them. And then they have to make a choice. Are they going to miss that last hit, or are they going to take a Q? And if you do that, you know, 5 times a minute, all of a sudden, like, they're out of health after 2 or 3 minutes, right? Especially early on, and especially if they don't get a lifesteal item, then that can be good. Anyways, what do you got here? Okay, still working redemption. Mobies, I like that. Mobies are pretty good because they don't have, like, unavoidable damage. It's just going to jump at you. So you should be able to position, and then that's going to let you rotate and get your wards. Yeah, I agree. It is a scary matchup, so... Is looting a verb now? What's up, Marisha? I will have some new Warhammer content for you too, Marisha, probably. After I get caught up with everything at school, which should happen tomorrow. I was hoping to get caught up last night, but it's going to take me one more day. Then I'll finish... I'll add some more Warhammer stuff in there. This is probably a bad, yeah, it's a bad fight. You guys don't have Teemo. Pantheon's gonna int. Ooh. Yeah, I just get out of there while you can. If you guys can get this top tower and they don't get anything in return, it's probably worth. Ah. Stick in there. Throw Qs, throw Qs. There you go. Get away from Vlad, but keep throwing Qs. Every time it's off cooldown, just throw those Qs. Even if you miss, just throw them, you know? Just use the mana to throw the Qs. Yeah, Mobies are good on almost all supports. Just because it allows you to rotate faster, it allows you to ward more efficiently, and it effectively gives you a lot of extra experience. Because all the time that you spend in transit, like warding and then moving to whatever your next destination is, that's time you're not gaining experience. That's time you're not around minions. And so it does add up. You know, if you can get back to, or get to whichever lane 3 seconds faster because you have Mobies, you know, sometimes you get an extra wave of experience that you may have otherwise missed. So that can give you, you know, an extra couple of levels as the game goes on. No, the range on her meteor skill, I'm pretty sure you mean her Q. Starcall's range, I think, is 900. It might even be further than that. It's really far. Definitely not 600. My guess is 900. We can look after this. It's a lot further than people would think. And that's not even, that's like the middle of it. That's not including the perimeter, the circumference, which can be even further, because you can clip people with it. Yeah, kind of like what Two said. If they have something, what I usually call unavoidable damage, or like very difficult to avoid damage, like an assassin, like he said, Zed and Talon are great examples, then you might have to get a defensive boot. Because it's really hard to not get hit by those if they want to hit you. Oops. Okay, 800 range. Plus the clip area, which is probably another 100. So you could get it to 900 if you clip them with the edge of it at max range. Maybe not, maybe like 850. You've got a lot of range. You can definitely harass people from a relatively safe distance in a lot of matchups. Yeah, there's really no reason to be down that far, I don't think. I mean, let me go back and see. What was you guys? Okay, you were just going after the chin. Okay, I mean, I guess that's understandable, but yeah, you gotta. I don't know, especially without vision, you gotta be very wary this late in the game of rotating like that, especially if, like, you know, their player just randomly starts running in the direction of darkness. Like, that means they probably have help coming. Especially if you've been chasing for a little while. You know, if you've been after this person for a couple of minutes, or not minutes, but like, you know, 20 seconds or something, then there's a good chance help is on the way for them. Alright, what do we... Redemption... Indulgen. That's true, Jolty. But particularly as Soraka, you gotta be careful, because you're gonna be pretty bad in skirmishes. You know, like little 2-on-2 scenarios this late in the game, it's gonna be real rough, because you don't have a lot of utility. You know, you don't have a stun. I mean, the silence is nice, but it's not the same thing as a stun. The silence is not gonna do anything to the vein. You really want to try to go for, like, team fights. Like, 3v3 and up. So that you have that sort of proper, you know, front line, back line, and peel, potentially. Y'all got two people. Watch out for the Vayne flank. You really need wards like here and over here. Okay. Y'all poked her out, but... Silence him? Yeah, I think you really needed to try to silence him, like, have the silence waiting when he got out of his pool. I still don't think y'all would have been able to deal with him, potentially. Yeah, it can happen where you can win 2-on-2s. I'm just saying, in general, that's not Soraka's forte late game. Not what she's really good at. Silence? Okay. I'm not sure if Soraka's Q goes through wind wall. I don't think it does. Maybe if you start it beyond the wind wall. I'm not sure how the animation works. I'd have to look that up. I know if it's like moving downward diagonally towards somebody, I think it would get intercepted, but maybe if you start it on the other side of the wind wall. If it starts on the other side before it starts moving, then maybe you could do that. What are you getting Warmogs? I think you said that you were gonna get Warmogs this game. Really don't like Warmogs here. Because Warmogs, like, if you get it at all on Soraka, it's like for really long siege fights. Because it doesn't help your allies at all. Like, it doesn't increase your plus healing and shielding. It doesn't add extra utility. What it does do is if you get low in a fight, you know, it can allow you to do sort of extended longer fights. Which is a thing, you know, it's helpful. Like right now, obviously, like regening all that would be nice, but like getting more efficient heals means you have to heal less. So you get your heals in there like faster, and you don't have to use as many. So that's like giving you effective health. You know, if you're getting, let's say, 20% more healing out of your W, that's 20% more or 20% less Ws you have to cast, which effectively gives you 20% more health. It's kind of a way to think about it. So I think that items that give you plus healing or shielding, or nice, that give you plus healing or shielding, or AP to increase your W are generally more effective. It does, but, like, it doesn't heal them as fast. I mean, yeah, it does help people, like, not die, but at the same time, if you just, like, position well, you shouldn't, like, need it. So, like, for example, if someone's getting bursted out, you know, by the Zyra, for example, and, you know, you have a, you know, 200 heal, I'm gonna mess the numbers up here, but just, like, off the top of my head, something like you have a 200 heal, very little plus healing and shielding. You could cast that 200 heal 30 times because you have Warmogs or something like that. Right? Versus if you invested that in additional plus healing and shielding or AP to get like 20% effective healing, you know, then you would be healing for 240. So if they're about to die instantly and you're only going to be able to get off 2 heals before they're potentially dead, then it may not matter if you could cast 30 heals with it because they're going to be dead, you know, because it's a burst fight. Rather than, like, that's what I was saying, if it's a really long fight, like, each team has, like, Ornn, Sejuani, Maokai, you know, stuff like that. Oh, wow. Okay, he did end up getting you. I thought maybe you were going to live for a second, but I didn't. His ult hadn't triggered yet. So yeah, like, Warmog is interesting. I think there is a time and a place, especially if they have, like we were talking about earlier, like, relatively unavoidable damage. In terms of, like, a Talon or a Zed or something like that. And you need a bit of health because you're getting focused out. Okay, but in general, you should be able to avoid most of this damage. Well, the AP is actually surprisingly really good because the cooldown. Dedicated Duck says her ratio is pretty low. I think it's a 0.6 on her heal. Which is lower than other enchanters, but you gotta remember, it's also, you can trigger it every 2 seconds. Late game, right? So yeah, like, Janna is gonna have a 0.7 on her shield, but it's like a 10-second cooldown later, versus Soraka's is like a 2-second cooldown. So the fact that she can cast it way more often means that even though her ratio itself is a bit lower than others, it ends up being just as effective or even more effective sometimes because you can cast it so much. Yeah, I mean, if Soraka gets bursted out, obviously you can't heal, but I'm just saying that, like, a lot of kind of the, like, the issues of Soraka's survivability can be fixed with positioning rather than itemization. Like, you always want to be, like, as greedy as you can possibly get away with in League. So if you can, like, if you can position well and get away with getting, you know, all enchanter items, you know, all Ardent, Redemption, Mikhails, or Athenes, then that's going to be a lot stronger in theory than if you have to stopping at a defensive item like Warmogs. Do you have the health to trigger that? No. Definitely 100% you can't do Warmogs if you don't have 3,000 health. And that is one of the problems, too, with kind of the reworked Warmogs, or, like, the recent changes to... Well, recent. There's probably, like, 10 patches ago at this point. Changes to Warmogs, and just the itemization overall is it's really hard to get to that 3,000 health. Because they changed it back to 3,000, right? Yeah. I know it was 2,750 for a hot minute there, but then they changed it back to 3,000. Yeah, it's like, definitely not efficient unless you have 3,000 health. Which I think on Soraka, you know, you're not going to get to that until you're like level 15, and you'll have to buy like an extra off item. You know, an extra unusual item in order to afford it. So you'll have to buy like another Kindle gem or something in order to get to that 3,000. Huh, okay. It was 2,750 at one point. Yeah, so I think you're just having to go way too far out of your way. Like, it is a cool idea with Soraka. And there was a time when it was 2,750 in certain matchups where, you know, I did advocate getting it as like a third or a fourth item in certain comps. But since the change, it's a lot tougher to do that. Yeah, I mean, you gotta ping it while you're trying to run, and... I mean, that's a risk as Soraka. This is something I talk about a lot with things like Soraka and Zyra that don't really have great escapes is in the mid game. If they have a fed assassin, which is in like 90% of the games, it feels like then they can definitely catch you out when you're rotating. Yeah, but he died anyways. You know, like the Warmogs is not going to save you open field against an assassin. They're still going to run you down and kill you most of the time. And that could be fixed, you know, potentially by just running through the middle or by checking bushes with your Q. Don't forget your Q gives vision. So if you're walking into a dark area, you can throw your Q first to see if somebody's there and then walk your way through. No, I wouldn't go Rod. I mean, a solution to playing Soraka for people suggesting items in chat is just, you just got to position well. I mean, that's it. Your only defense is positioning well. She's a very risky champion by her nature. She doesn't have escapes, and her heal is like 450 range. So you have to get very close to the fights, and you're going to be exposed and vulnerable. That's really tough in an assassin meta. That's why typically I sound like a broken record, but I recommend her in tank metas the most. I mean, you could definitely win with her in any meta, but like, it's really nice if you have a team that can peel for you, or at least like has some semblance of a front line. Yeah, I mean, I could go back and look at it, but just in general, you know, try to put Qs on things. Yeah, I mean, but you can't look at, like, I always, you know, tell people to be very careful of one-tricks. Because they're not normal people in League of Legends. It's like, you don't want to model, like, your life's plan on what Bill Gates did, you know, to rise to fame, or like what, you know, a couple of these other like really miraculous cases did. For example, and you know, it might work for some people, but that's not a good standard, because like it's always kind of dangerous when you try to make an exception into a standard. So for example, I wouldn't tell all the students in my class like, hey, just drop out of college and start a tech company in your garage. Worked for Bill Gates, it's worked for, you know, several different tech entrepreneurs, therefore everyone should do it. It's like, no, they're kind of like the equivalent of a one-trick, right? Like, they're just very good at what they do, and they do it differently from what a lot of other people do, or even are capable of doing in some cases. Like, yeah, it could happen, but at the same time, those people are very knowledgeable. It's good to look at them, try to find inspiration for things to say, oh, okay, Bill Gates did this, or this tech person did this. This is how they found part of the success. This one-trick person did this. They do this build, so I should consider that or think about that, but you just want to always be cautious when you're considering that information. Okay, let's go back and look at this real quick, since we have a pretty good team fight. Okay, so this is all dark. It's a water dragon. There's no way you're going to be able to contest this. You know they're all there. Yeah, definitely do not face check. Once Teemo dies, it's done. Like, it's 4v5 at this point. You have no vision. I mean, Vayne's over here, but still, like, you just let this go. It's a water dragon. You guys have Baron. You don't want to waste losing a Baron buff. That's real rough. Did he flash on you? I thought he just got behind you. Yeah, I mean, you're going to get focused as Soraka, first of all. Like, you gotta... That's definitely happening. Assassins love to kill the Soraka. And they have to kill you, or... Wait, what did you E there? Were you trying to anticipate he was going to ult back, and you just did it too early, or was like an oops E? Okay, right there, he flashed after you. Yeah. I mean, you flashed to get away, he flashed to chase. But yeah, they're definitely going to run you down. Alright, it might be back. It's still hopping around a little bit here. But yeah, I mean, that was a really rough team fight there. And they got inhibitor. Now, for people watching just the standalone video, you won't notice any lag there. But it's just like the stream right now is lagging. Okay, it looks like it's probably back. I mean, that could have been a pretty cool prediction. Which Echo fight do you want me to rewatch, Schulte? The one that we watched like 4 times? Alright, let me get through the rest of this really quick, and we'll go back and look at that. Last fight. I don't remember where it was. It was right before they got a dragon, so I should be able to find that on the scoreboard. Yeah, don't chase him in here. 45 seconds to go against Zyra. Okay. Yeah, y'all just chased into darkness. Sort of jinx baited all of y'all to die.
Red team's